Welcome back. Welcome back, all you loners. Thank you guys for tuning into another video. We appreciate you all for being here and liking and subscribing. So this is episode 308. Alright, so guys, if you haven't yet, please like and subscribe here and jump over to our vlog channel and go check out the latest videos that we posted from our trip. Alright, run up those numbers, alright? Run them up. Okay, so...
Wait, Max has something to say.
Okay, so...
Wait, yeah, run up those numbers, and you can see me have a bitch fest on...
Yep.
Actually, maybe people don't want to see that.
Okay, so today's video is Trump threatens 50% tariff on the EU, which is a new tariff, which he says is going to go into effect on June 1st.
Bro, shut up. It didn't work with China. Stop pissing me off.
So let's see.
All right, we've got some breaking news for you. It's just come in. President Trump saying he wants a straight 50% tariff on the EU.
Not a gay 50%, a straight.
June 1st. Because trade talks are stuck. He is typing away and also going after a U.S. company, a big one, Apple, which is already seeing its stocks get a hit. Let's go to CNN's Elena Treen, who is live for us at the White House. Tell us what you know as we're seeing these social media posts come fast and furious this morning.
Yeah, this was definitely a bit of surprise here at the White House, Sarah, and we learned of this. He really delivered this new policy via social media, something, of course, the president often does. I want to read for you a little bit of what he wrote, because clearly he has long taken issue with the European Union, and now we're actually seeing that result in real repercussions.
I mean, from what I've been hearing online, too, like Canadians, they've been stocking up their shelves with everything that's anything besides U.S. goods. So they've been got a lot of different European goods, other stuff like that. Like, and there's a lot of them are like, yeah, that's right. Like, we don't need to use U.S. goods. Yeah.
That, of course, are going to be impacting the market today once they open. He wrote, quote, "The European Union, which was formed for the primary purpose of taking advantage of the United States on trade, has been very difficult to deal with." He went on to say that there are powerful trade barriers, VAT taxes. He talked about monetary manipulations, etc., all citing that as reasons for what he argues is a massive trade deficit with the United States. He went on to say, "Therefore, I am recommending a straight 50% tariff on the European Union starting on June 1st of 2025. There is no tariff if the product is built or manufactured in the United States." So again, this is a huge development, Sarah, because of course, the European Union is one of the biggest, they're not one country, but bloc that the United States and this Trump administration has been trying to negotiate with. We actually saw the Italian Prime Minister, Giorgia Meloni, come to the White House earlier, a couple weeks ago, to really negotiate on behalf of the European Union, because she, unlike a lot of different European countries, has a really good relationship with the United States. And there was a thought process that perhaps she could be the one to kind of assuage some of the president's big frustrations that he has with the EU. As of now, clearly, it sees that those negotiations have not been going well, that they are stalled. And rather than waiting for the end of that 90-day period, remember, the president initially, when he had put on these different tariffs, these reciprocal tariffs for all of these different countries, he said when he paused them that he would give them 90 days to negotiate these. Now the president is moving up the timeline specifically for the EU because he's very frustrated.
Do any of us believe he actually wants to negotiate? Or he just wants to have it his way and, like, be sold something? I feel like he almost wants someone to bribe him. Kind of like, what's his face from Qatar who gave him a private jet?
That was insane that he accepted that. He officially accepted that $300 million
which I don't
jet.
even think is legal. But hey.
Well, I mean, who cares about laws anymore at this point?
You can be a felon and run this country, so...
The EU, because he's very frustrated with how he argues they are treating them for trade. So major development. He says 50% tariffs will be placed on all of the EU by June 1st.
Yeah, we're also seeing the futures react to that, and it ain't good. Things are dropping fast. The president didn't just go after the EU, though. He went after a U.S. company, Apple. What are you learning on that?
Yeah, it's clear the president is very focused on trade today, Sarah, because he also posted some sort of warning, really, to Apple CEO Tim Cook. He said that essentially he wrote, quote, "I have long ago informed Tim Cook of Apple that I expect their iPhones that will be sold in the United States of America will be manufactured and built in the United States, not India or any place else." He went on to say that if they do not do that, they will be paying a tariff of at least 25%. Now, you mentioned this, Apple already falling up roughly 2% in pre-market.
Hey, maybe this is the time to stock up on anything Apple before they start doing that.
This is actually insane. One, not going to happen. The materials we need, majority of them are overseas.
But they wouldn't be able to sustain that. They wouldn't be able to do
close.
that. Yeah, it's insane.
Apple products are already ridiculously overpriced. There is some production that does happen here, but the majority of it is overseas.
Yeah.
Market trading. I note as well that Tim Cook was actually just here at the White House a couple days ago on Tuesday to talk with President Trump. But this has also been something that the president has been very fixated on, wanting Apple to move manufacturing of iPhones back to the United States. Now,
plot twist. Tesla comes out with a new smartphone.
Primarily, Apple manufactures these iPhones in China, but they've also begun to move some of that production to India because they are in better standing with the United States. They understand where the president's kind of frustrations and potential policies could come from. But this is really an entirely new concept now that we are hearing from the president, that if Apple does not change things and does not change things swiftly, he is going to be placing a 25% tariff on them. All to say, between this and what he is doing with the EU, major moves that are going to have very big consequences, and I'm sure we'll be seeing some of those in the markets today.
We are starting to see them already. If you look across the board, everything has dropped. This is the gift that nobody really wanted for this holiday weekend. Thank you so much, Elena Treen. I know you'll be watching all the details of how this rolls out. And
also, the bill got passed in the House, the new big, beautiful bill, the tax bill. So now we need to see if it passes in the Senate. But it essentially, anyone who makes under 500K households, their taxes are going to go up. But then people who do get tax cuts and incentives, individuals, not like corporations and businesses, they will be temporary until 2028. Mm-hmm. And then, but for corporations, the tax breaks and tax cuts will be permanent. I mean, realistically, all that I can think that's happening with everything going on is he's trying to move all the money from the lower class poor people up to the very top. It's clear as day.
And he's gonna get out in a couple years.
It's clear as day.
We all know he's not gonna run again.
Yeah.
I don't think that's gonna happen.
Me either.
And run again, as if that's an option. But like, do you see how I speak this way? Because he has brainwashed us into thinking that he could have another term.
I mean, he technically could if he goes to the furthest point of like being a dictator. He could.
No, he can't. Point blank fucking period. He can't. Yeah, I think he's just trying to wring this economy dry as much as he can, get whatever
he can for him and his buddies.
Incentives he can out of this, and fucking dip.
Yeah.
And go die after he God willing, he gets a little sick very soon.
Yeah.
Response and reaction. Appreciate it.
All right, the breaking news this morning. President Trump just threatened to hit the European Union with a 50% tariff on all imported goods. He says negotiations are not making any progress. You can see stock futures turning sharply lower, really, the minute he made that threat. He's also threatening Apple, saying if it does not move production and manufacturing of its iPhones to the U.S., that the company, just that one company, will be hit by a 25% tariff. Obviously, this comes as many countries in the world have been rattled with his trade threats over the last 6 to 8 weeks. One of those countries very much includes Canada, and that is where New Hampshire Senator Jeanne Shaheen is this morning. She is leading a bipartisan group of senators on a visit to Canada, I guess, to try to smooth things over. We'll get to Canada in just a minute, but it's all connected to what we're hearing now. Your take on these new threats, a 50% tariff on the European Union.
Well, it's unfortunate that the president is going after our strongest allies, because at a time when we're facing adversaries like China and Russia, when the global situation is so precarious. We need to do everything we can to work together with our allies and multiply. It's one of the biggest advantages the United States has, our allies and partners. And so to be picking a fight now seems to me not to be in America's interest, plus the impact that it's going to have on consumers and businesses. Well, I'm hearing from...
I am noticing it. Well, I do notice things going up, but even like my parents have been telling me like a lot of things have been going up, especially because my mom works with she works with a local government type of thing. Not government, but it's like government funded, I believe.
She's an accountant, so
it's a utilities board.
Yeah.
And so she's noticing that prices are going up a lot on a lot of the materials that they have to bring in.
Yep.
Business in New Hampshire is their very real concern about tariffs and what it means for their cost of doing business, what it means for their ability to get supplies, materials that are part of their supply chain. It's having a huge impact.
What about the targeting of
sorry, forgive me if I'm missing a piece here. We still need to, even if we have production in America, like we still need to bring the materials. Like we don't have all the materials we need for some of the stuff we want to produce that he wants to produce here.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll make exceptions to those eventually.
Okay, but to what end, man?
specific company, which also happened this morning with the president threatening Apple?
Well, again, this is something that's going to have a big impact on consumers. Almost everybody in the country has an iPhone now. They're not all Apple iPhones, but for those of us who do, those are going to cost more. It's going to have a ripple effect across the economy. And I don't think that's the best way for us to address the concerns around our trade imbalance and around what we need to do to ensure that America is strong when it comes to trade with the rest of the world.
Just this morning, President Trump is saying and announcing that he is recommending a 50% tariff on all goods coming from the EU starting June 1st. And what he's citing is a lack of progress in the trade talks. At the same time, he's also now threatening, again on social media, is threatening Apple with a 25% tariff if it does not build iPhones in America. As we know,
it says built or manufactured. I'm pretty sure there are some that are built here.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Moving Apple's supply chain to America is not something that can be done in a hot minute. As this plays out, do you think Trump's trade war has a lasting impact on U.S. relationships, friend and foe?
Yeah, of course.
I think it does, and I think it's almost entirely negative. You know, I remember way back when conservatives and Republicans believed that the market should set prices in terms of sales and production and that sort of thing, not following the edicts of the American president. And I also, and this is a very important point, I've spoken to many business leaders, finance leaders around the country over the past 4 months since the inauguration. They have believed, they hope that the tariffs were just a bargaining tool, just a tool to fix some things, and then everything would go back to normal. I don't know that this is enough for some of those true believers, but for everybody else, I just ask, look at what he's doing. He believes in these tariffs. This is going to continue as long as he is in office. So my only hope here on the tariff front is swift decision.
That was something else too. Sorry, I just showed it. The white genocide. Yeah. He's like portraying that there's a white genocide in South Africa, and when you look up any of the statistics and details, there's no white genocide going on. He even showed a picture like this when the South African president was in there, and he was like showing a picture of Congo, like a burial site in Congo, and it's just insane how much grifting and how much like people really just buy into his bullshit. I don't get it.
He really does live in his own little world.
He does.
On the constitutional challenge to these so-called reciprocal tariffs, the Liberation Day tariffs, I think business ought to get behind it. Let's move this quickly through the courts and get a decision by the Supreme Court that I think will say resoundingly that the whole episode is unconstitutional.
Bold of you to think the Supreme Court.
The whole episode is unconstitutional. Meanwhile, in Canada, my local grocery store has filled its shelves with European brands that I've never tried before. Nice. Boycott America until Trump is impeached. Man, and it's crazy too, looking up like just things that I already kind of know, but I just want to make sure. I'm like, in the U.S., it's like the biggest income inequality in the whole developed world. It's insane, and it's just gonna get worse with these types of things. All right. Well, thank you all for watching. Please like and subscribe, and please jump over to our vlog channel. We appreciate y'all. Love you.
Bye.